Okay, well, that was my phone storage was suddenly full. Even though I just cleaned it yesterday or the day before, well, suddenly it's full. So, this is the shenanigans, I'm telling you. There is so fucking much just shenanigans. This morning I was irate. Like, I was like, oh my fucking God. Okay, I let the dogs out like 2 or 3 times and fed them, give him a treat and stuff. Well, suddenly Max decides he needs to go to the bathroom, but he's not going to go over to the door. Why would he do that? Instead, he's going to jump the barrier, jump and go over to his favorite little spot in front of the refrigerator and poop over there. And even when I'm God calling him, he's just like, no, I got it right here. I'm good. It's like, motherfucking shit. You've been outside 3 motherfucking times. I was like, oh my God, I couldn't fucking believe this stupid. The fucking the shenanigans, I swear to God. Just like, it's so, oh, fuck. And, anyways, that just pissed me the fuck off. He had been doing really good too. I've been really building him up every time we go potty outside. Oh, good boy, good boy, good boy. But it's like, it's the weirdest thing. It's like I'm standing right here. All you don't try and tell me that you gotta go to the bathroom. Like Archie's not very good at telling me. Stella's real good at telling me. Stella's got no problem. Stella goes right over to the door and she'll whimper or whine at me like, "Come on," and not these two. Uh, uh, um, Archie, he'll just start running back and forth in the room and then come and sit and stare at me. Go back and forth, come and sit and stare at me. Matt or Winston did the same thing. He would just come and sit and just stare at me. And it would take me a minute to figure out, like, what are you staring at me about? And then I would get up and then he'd run to the door. And that's the same thing that Archie does. Is like he'll go back and forth and then he'll run over and stare at me, go back and forth, run over and stare at me, and I'll stand up and then he runs to the door like, hell yeah. But Max, he's just like, oh, I'll just go wherever. I got handled. It's like, I swear to God, it's so different. Like I mean, I don't want to push on the puppy mills, that's for sure. The dog crisis is just keeps getting worse. I swear to God. Like it's just as everything is building, it's building too. It's just horrific. It's just a complete murder slaughter of innocent animals because they're homeless. And because you want to misspend the grant money, you can't expand. You can't give humane treatment. Call yourself a humane place, but be completely inhumane treatment. It's just absurd. So much fucking shit here is so absurd. And we just go by, wow, that's what it says, humane. That's the best place to go. Go to there. It's like, oh, really? Because if you go in there, there's mad fucking, I mean, you got these crazy abusers that work there because they have no respect. They don't give a fuck. And I guess if you get 1 or 2 good people in there, then, I don't know, maybe they get outed. Maybe they're just like, no, we only take the bad ones here. And it was, if it was just 1 or 2 people abusing the animals, then the rest of the people would stand up. No, it's just an accepted thing. It don't matter. Kick them in the head and you can kill them anyways. It's just like, oh my God. Oh my God. You got this one fucking place, the guys on camera, and they're just doing the dot. They're like, oh, Jesus Christ, I swear to God. We live in the most sickest fucking, and I can't even get over where people say, oh no, hell's way worse than this. What? What? Jesus Christ. Oh yeah, you're gonna burn. You're gonna burn. Yeah, I just, sometimes I can't even get over the hierarchy of religion and the creation of, it is like an egomania. It's really feeding into some dark, I mean, we sit there and think about the fetishes and stuff being dark, but people just don't realize what this religion has done to their heart, mind, and soul. So, but everybody's got their own things to wake up to. Everybody's got their own shit to see. And I'm still curious how they're gonna how are they gonna do this? Like, are they just gonna have the people in the sky coming down and tell us, oh, you guys are waiting on Jesus? Well, that's not real. And then you have that, but they've already got that written into the book because that's the great deception. You don't listen to them. They're trying to trick you. They're the devils. And they're gonna try and trick you so that you don't get to go to heaven with God, the Almighty. and so I don't know how they're gonna play this off. I don't know. There's weirder and weirder shit going on in the sky. More and more people noticing. More and more people waking up. Just by, I mean, just starting to look up and watch the sky, but definitely in my comments, there was tons of people like, oh my God, it looks so weird. So funny because, you know, when that started happening to me back in 2016, that would have been great if I would have had all these other people to bounce off of, but it was very isolating. Anything that's very isolating, it's a different part of you that's to be healed or motivated to move or make change or whatever. So everything, nothing happens by accident. Just like, you know, the video going off at 25 minutes and then I'm going to be leaving in a couple hours. And I was like, well, maybe it's because it's going to make a download faster or something. I don't know. Just I couldn't even believe how long it took to download. Sometimes it's so ridiculous. Sometimes it goes fast and sometimes it's so fucking absurdly slow. But, anyways, so Hillary is talking bullshit nonsense. The news is just feeding the ego, it's mind control, but the people who are doing it are mind control too. Oh yeah, okay, because it's the conspiracy. Okay, yeah, that's what I was gonna do. So, so what I've seen on the thing, because as soon as I was hearing about the thing that they were going to go rescue these people, they're making all this big hype about it, and Joe's left him, he's abandoned him. Now Donald's going to pay him out of his own pocket for their overtime. This shit is so, oh my God, it's so ridiculous. It's embarrassing, man. Some of this shit is so, it's like people couldn't understand it, the 12th grade work, so we had to go back and do kindergarten. Like, it's so, oh my God, it's so ridiculous. So anyways, so Joe abandoned these people who went up out to space, which right there, as soon as they start talking to me about outer space, I'm just like, like, there's even ufology people now when they talk about, you know, out in space and all this shit. I'm just like, meh. It's like, and so, anyways, out in space, when they had to go do this rescue mission to get these people 250 miles away. Oh, God. And they were sending up practice rockets. So they sent up 2 practice rockets. Both of them blow the fuck up. Well, we're going to load this one up with some people. We're going to get you out here. We want you to hear their story. We want you to know who these people are for some reason. And then we're going to load them up on this rocket. And they're going to talk about, like, they can't wait to get back to go out to lunch. And you're going to go have coffee with this one. We'll come over and have snacks at my house. And it was like, oh, how down to earth of them. So just ridiculous. Like, what if we give a fuck? You go have them talk on the phone. I don't give a fuck what the hell they're doing. And so so they got these people on the main stage, you know, so we can, you know, get to know them or something. Then they're gonna zip them up there, which I thought they were just gonna blow them up. I was like, why are they having us get to know them so much? Like, what the fuck difference does it make? And so then they zip up there. It's like a day trip. It's like the same thing I'm doing today. Only I'm not zipping up there. I'm just zipping over there. But I'm telling you, it's the same motherfucking thing. Depends on where you are in the onion. It depends on if you're laying it out or you're holding it out. Like, I'm telling you, it's different than how we think. So they're going up for this day mission to go get these fucking people. Like, oh, Joe couldn't handle it. It was like a fucking day trip. He couldn't even just go and zip up there with them. Hey, guys, come on down with me. Like, this is so stupid. And so then they do this little day trip, get them back, and have all this big thing to show the splashdown and stuff. So it's all over the news. Like, So all the people who were watching it, well, then you got the conspiracy people who start going like questioning things like, well, I don't know about that. So you had people on radar that said all of a sudden this thing came out of nowhere, wasn't going on the radar or anything. It was just suddenly boom, and then it started going in circles. And you can see it. They show the radar thing, and there's all these airplanes going all over the place, and suddenly this big red thing from NASA comes flying in, and it doesn't even fly in. It just is suddenly there, and then it goes in this line and goes and starts doing these circles. Which is another strange maneuver that a bunch of people have found, that they keep sending these military helicopters, these military planes out, and they'll watch them on the radar. Because you get people who watch the radar thing all the time. I think that guy, what was his name? He was a few years ago. And, dang, I can't think of his name or his handle or whatever. But he's on YouTube, and he kind of started that wave. Or he was the first person who got really popular doing it. But so he was showing the radar all the time and showing what was going on. Then there started being people doing it with the water, with the boats, and so it became like a thing. And I don't know if they were doing it all along with him or whatever. I think he's military. I can't remember his name, but anyways, so there's lots of people who are looking at those now. And so on when all these different people show all these different videos, they have caught so many of these military planes just going in these weird places and then just doing these loops for like hours, just looping around, looping around, looping around. And they're like, what are they doing? Why are they doing this? And, you know, I don't know, trying to, you know, watch a herd of giants or something. I don't know what the hell they're doing. But it's definitely not something that would make sense to us. It's definitely bullshit. It's definitely to hide something or whatever. So anyways, there's weird shit with the radar. Then it had the whole crash land, or no, the landing, the water landing thing, which I said all this shit, I swear to God, is AI shit. And it's not. I don't think you can trust anything that's real. And even when I said that about JFK, because my mom was like, I watched it. He definitely got, and it was him waving and stuff. And she said, you think they had AI back then? And I was like, I don't know. They've got way more technology than anything we know of. And I think she said, well, I saw it. And so besides, if he was alive, he would be so old by now. Which the people who were pushing that narrative are talking about the med beds and stuff, so he wouldn't be old at all. And I'm telling you, that Lady Di love child, who I think is Lady Di, she looks exactly the same as she did way back, only now she has long hair. But she looks exactly the same as her younger self. So I think it just gets you to a really optimal place in your vibration. Like it gets you to a good place in your vibration, so you just stay the same. And I think our natural thing is like, I don't know, between 30 and 45 or 50 or something. Like that's where we all kind of will be in that kind of an adult age range. And I don't know if we ever really start getting super old. I don't know. Like if you can see somebody and they're like, oh, that person's 900 and they still look for it. Like, I don't know what it's going to be like. I think it's going to be like we're just going to look young and we're not going to be dying. And people are going to, like, well, why would people choose to die? Like, it's going to be so many more realities opening up to you. You don't need to die to get out of this one to go to another one. You get to just move through them. Like, we get to go through portals now. We get to go to new realities. So, it's not going to be so controlled. Like, how we've been, like, under this umbrella of control, and they've managed our movements and stuff and kept us bewildered. But anyways, so I had said that I think that all this shit, like, I don't believe any of this shit anymore. Everything to me is AI. And the so this person had the landing thing, the footage and stuff, so they put it through an AI detector, and it came back as like it's most likely is AI. It's not real footage. It's artificially created. So but there'll be more and more people. Everybody will start saying, "You look so weird," because that happened with so many different things. Oh my gosh, I saw this woman. She was so like, this is another one of those people where I'm listening and I'm like, "Is this for real? Is this for real, real? Is she just kidding?" Like, is she look at like, is she about to like start joking? This is so weird. So she was obviously very blue, even though she was a black lady, and she was talking about the bullshit that Donald's doing, and he is just trying to snub the black people. He is just giving the black people the big fucking middle finger. And so she said, he's taken down the BLM, and he is also gonna pardon the person who did it, who took out George. It's old George Floyd, you know. So she said he's going after the black people through these different things and stuff. I didn't keep listening. She was really so pissed, and there's so many of these people. There's so many of these people that look at everything so backwards. They don't see the crimes going on around us and what's really happening. Man, there's a lot of stuff with that Floyd guy, like. But then, you know, I mean, when you start hearing about Martin Luther King, like all these other people, and it's like, oh, this is just how these people work. Like they just get bad guys and put them out. Like there would be, for sure, the future would hold, you know, a place for George as being a martyr or some kind of whacked out shit. And whatever way they want to turn things, they create these characters or something so that they can lean on them through their creating a narrative to create this fake reality for us. But all this stuff, and some of it is so just like, why? And I don't know if it's just a distraction, if it's to get us, you know, like get us to pay attention, you know, to, oh, Elon's having to pay this, NASA has no money. Well, then at the same time, you got the Doge looking into their money, and then it's like, oh, well, they've got all this money. What are they doing with it? So it's all this, like, to keep showing us this misspending and misspending. But like I said, it's not very complex. They were going very, like, get the chalkboard out. Let's get the chalk. Okay, we're going to show you, see this. But I guess, you know, when you've got all these people under mind control, like a cult, that they're trying to do a whole giant amount of people at once, it's got to be real basic. But it is like, oh my God, some of this stuff is so ridiculous. And when you don't have people to talk about how ridiculous it is, because it's so like, no, this is some bullshit, ah, God damn it, then it's just like, whew, oh, man, what a ride, what a ride. So, anyways, our ride's not letting up. Hopefully, hopefully, like, hopefully, or whatever. If it's the Galactics coming down to tell us, hey, you're waiting on Jesus, he's not coming. Which, you know, to me, even, I was thinking about this because I was thinking about the reality being created for the rapture. You know, if all these people really are creating this reality and there's God that they're going to go to worship and stuff. But I was thinking, the only person or God or whatever that would want to be worshipped would be a lower vibration to want to be worshipped. And so that is very toxic. It would not be a higher vibrational being. Higher vibrational being would want you to figure out how to worship yourself. They wouldn't want the burden of having to carry you along for the ride. And so definitely it's a higher vibration as you move up in vibration, where it is like in the lower vibrations, we're very dependent on each other. We're always hanging on each other. We're looking for a life raft. We're looking for a life preserver. Somebody, you know, save me, hold me up. I'm falling apart. And so we're all doing that to each other. We're all drowning and trying to get the person next to you to save you. And everybody's drowning. And then as you pull free from that, which is very much climbing out of a dark hole that keeps wanting to suck you back in. Oh yeah, because it is like the patterns and stuff of the people around you will try and suck you back in to the toxic patterns. But you have to keep pulling yourself and climbing out and climbing out. And it's very, very uncomfortable because the toxic cesspool life is all we've known. And so pulling yourself free from that and getting yourself out of it is cleansing. And see, that's the part where you're healing, you're cleansing yourself, you're letting all these dark parts of yourself go. And but once you get out of that and you start going on your journey, it's like, look, man, I got the hell out of there. I'm on my way now. Where am I going? Where am I going? Which is quite tedious, because it's like you want to get to the places much faster, but the in-between isn't just filler time. It's time that you need to become you. So it's like this becoming you on the journey to you. So your best timeline is you becoming your best version of yourself and everything falling into place. And so when you start that, and you get out of the cesspool and everybody's pulling you back and it's just like draining and it's hard and you get yourself out of it, and then you start going and people are still pulling you back. That's where you got to have boundaries. Like, no, you could stay back there. I'm out. I'm not going back. Sorry, go. I'm not in. And it's just like, that's where you got to find your boundaries, like there's no fucking way I'm going back in that fucking hellhole. And you start going on your journey and people are like, oh, you're so crazy, what are you doing, you make no sense. And it's like, well, I don't know, but I'm on my way. Anything's got to be better than that shit. And you start going, and then you start meeting, or the things start happening that start developing you and helping you to grow and to release things. And I swear to God, a lot of things is releasing it is just re-looking at it. It's just looking at it from a different perspective, a different POV. You've got a different point of view. And so, you have a child's point of view, you have an adult's point of view, and sometimes it's past life stuff. But there's a conveniency to the past life stuff because it somehow has a reflection in this life. So you're looking at something, even though it's from here, you're looking at it through here. So it kind of works. So it's not like you have to figure out all your past lives to heal your stuff. No, the stuff is going to play out, these characters and stuff. So things are going to play out naturally. You don't have to overthink it and try and figure it all out. There's just some of us who just do that. So, but it's not necessary. It's more necessary to just get comfortable with the ride, just to relax and just let things go. But, we're all here working on different things. So, I'm always like looking at all this stuff. But, so on the journey, when you get out, though, you start becoming lighter and lighter and lighter. And then as you work up, because the more you become your soul is free. It's not attached to all this other shit. It's not attached to other souls. It's just like what my grandma had said when that medium came and was talking to my grandparents. And so I said, are you guys together? Thinking like, oh, we're a happy couple and now they're a happy couple in heaven. And she said, no, it's not like that here. And then all of a sudden it was just like this epiphany of like, oh yeah, well, we're all playing different roles. So who would be your husband now? No, you get this time slot to come down and experience these relationships. They don't carry on. When you go forward, you're back to autonomy, you're back to self. And but when you get into self, that's the higher vibration. You're comfortable with yourself. So see, that's what you're doing, is trying to get comfortable with yourself. Once you do reach that comfort level, which your soul is already there, this is like a game. But I see it so much as like such an expansion for the universe, for the souls that come and do it. It is almost like there's certain souls that go in and to experience, like it's a whole thing. And not all energies do the same things, but there's these ones that go in to have all these experiences, and it creates this expansion because your soul is already your soul is advanced more than you are. And so you are going back, you're descending to go down and play around in the cesspool of hell. And so, but once you get up into that higher vibing, those beings that aren't looking for somebody to worship them, they're not looking for, like, man, that can be such a burden. Just look at all these people who are always Jesus, Jesus, calling out to God and Jesus to save them and to help them and stuff. It's like, that would be a lot. And it kind of reminds me of like Bruce Almighty. That's what I'm seeing now, is how when he started getting overwhelmed, when it started being like all these people were calling out to him and all praying to him and all needing help and needing this. And we started doing the sticky notes and like that whole thing. But that is that is kind of like how I see it. Like it's kind of more of like a burden. It's like, yeah, you can fix these things, but it's more complicated than that. And going in and fixing something for somebody takes away their lessons too. So it's a lot more complicated. And so the the higher vibrational being, I don't see them as being like, well, I haven't had much to do up here in heaven. It's gotten kind of boring. I think I'm going to go down into the lower level and get people to worship me for a while. I was like, even when there was, because the higher vibration is a higher vibration now than it used to be, is how I see it. And even though there was more advanced beings, they weren't all necessarily higher vibration. And so these beings that had come, and then the lower man, which there was also different tribes, there was different colonizers, different places, different planets, or if you want to think of it like that, coming and colonizing here, coming to live on Earth. And so there was different groups, but in some of them, when these beings would come down, and then they would be interacting with the people who were more primitive, then they would think that these people were gods. But it wasn't necessarily that they were trying to be gods, even though I think there was probably some different times where they did get, I don't know, because it kind of seems like the Greek gods and stuff, like Zeus and Poseidon, and like there was a kind of like a competition between the gods of who was more powerful or something. Like there became like a, and my stomach's growling like crazy. It became like a hierarchy or a competition, kind of like who was stronger or better or smarter. But that was still like a primitive kind of way, even though they were way advanced to the other beings. But there's been these other beings that were way advanced that were coming down and having sex with getting the humans pregnant, and so that we have all this crossover, this crossbreeding. There's people who, are thought of like their DNA is from the gods, but really it was just other beings from other places. But the people at the time thought of them as gods. I think when you go the furthest back, I think the Mayans, when you go way back, I think there's still some Mayans around. Even though they say all the Mayans went away, but I swear to God, when I was in Mexico, that there was these little women, and they said that they were Mayan, and they were making tortillas and stuff. But I don't know, maybe I'm getting mixed up. But anyways, I do think the Mayans and the Aborigines, I'm always pulled into the Aborigines. It's like they are really, really ancient. Like that group of that DNA structure or whatever, that group of people, that tribe has way, way back. And because there's different times. Like it wasn't all at way, 20,000 years ago, all this happened. No, because there's been different times and places and different interactions. And all of these interactions come from these other beings. And they've come at different times and interacted to teach us and show us things. But then there's always this interference and these resets. We've kind of got on this, like this fast moving reset thing. And that is, I guess, has to do with their reincarnation recycle thing. They're just trying to speed up and use all this energy. So anyways, but whatever all these different things, it's all, ending. And the but anyways, like to me, it wouldn't be like the original person. If there's an original person who was the original Jesus, which when you get into that conspiracy, there's so many different stories. Oh no, he was really this guy. Oh no, he's really this. Oh no, he's really that. It's like, I don't fucking know. I mean, I've even heard, I think in the Zeitgeist or something, where he's like a creation of two different deities, and that he was just totally made up. So I have no idea. But if he was a real person, and he really was a master, and he had moved up in vibration, I don't see him as being like, well, okay, I'm going to go back, save all these people, and then I get for it, that they're going to sit and sing to me for eternity. I just don't see that at all. It's a very low vibration to be dependent and to need a savior. And so it'd be a low vibration thing that had to play out. So I don't know, man. When they talk about the split, we'll see. We'll see how this shit is going to split apart. We'll see what direction goes what and who goes where and stuff. And if it really is going to become separate from each other, or if it's just going to be our separation because we become so involved in our own realities that we don't think about the other ones. And because I already don't think so much about like all these people who are suffering and stuff. Like I'll go on TikTok for a few minutes and see if I find anything going on, but it's like so much dog stuff. And it's like I'll see a couple videos, but it's like that's it. And then walking upstairs and going past the news thing and hearing what they're saying, and then some of the times I'll ask my mom too, like if they're talking about anything else happening. Oh, like there was a hot mic moment for Schumer, I think it was. And he said, he's going to make sure we're going to vote the way he wants us to. They'll come into our houses and they'll force us. And he says it right out. It's like, what does it take for these people to see who's trying to force them into something? Because it's even going to play into the story, even though Donald was put into position. Joe still took the reign. And that is going to be shown. They're going to have to see the truth behind that, and it's going to show, which side the dictator is lying, and it's not on the side of the person who steps down. And so, anyways, especially there's just so much stuff that's going to keep coming out about all this stuff. There's just a lot, and it's going to be very humbling for these people to start seeing the truth. And like I said, I don't know how some of this stuff is going to play out. Like they have so much going on up in the sky. Is it going to be that they're going to start having ships landing? Like there seems like some big thing going on in Florida too, which they've said for a long time. There's a mothership over the base, over the one big base, Pennington or whatever it is. So I don't know. And I don't think it's called Pennington, but it's something. I think there's, whatever happened to our Fort Knox tour? Like, get over there and fucking get the fucking money thing going. And, Oh, yeah. And on the money thing, it's going through court. There's actually a guy who's going through court and it's gone before the Congress and shit to get this money for us. Which he could not be, I mean, he may be a player. You know, he may be somebody who is scripted to do this whole thing. And to us, we think is just a regular citizen who's doing this. But he's going all in on going to Congress, going before court, doing everything to get this money. So we all get money, which now includes how they're getting it now is people on Social Security and people who work. Well, that's not going to work because there's tons of people who can't get a job. And they said, well, that's going to motivate them to get a job. Not when they won't give them a fucking job. There's people who have been out there looking, have applied at a zillion places. And it's a game. It's a fucking game what's going. They're trying to destroy our lives, destroy our economy, destroy our livelihoods, destroy everything. And the person who's going to rip that apart, it's going to seem like he's the great destroyer. But really, they are in destruction mode. But this guy is trying to take away their power. So he's trying to be like, okay, they're going to crash this shit, but we're going to go over here. And so they're the ones who are doing this. It's not Donald. He's bringing something else up. I mean, he's telling them, like, we're closing down the education. We're closing this down, closing that down. So he's stopping them from being able to do the stuff that they do to us. So, but the people who don't see, they don't see, but they're going to see. There's going to be no choice. Everybody's going to be stuck seeing. Everybody's going to see. And that is going to be the humbling, the awakening, the seeing your own fault, seeing your own destruction, seeing a big thing is going to be people are going to see how dependent they are on other people and how that deters them from being themselves, because that's what you want to do is be yourself, see yourself, understand yourself, and not just try and please others and be what others want you to be. And so anyways, it will be a relief to go through it once they get through it, but they're just so resistant. Everybody's so resistant to change. And then but there's this whole manipulation going too, like these wacky people saying such wacky stuff, but it's like when you can see that it's wacky, it sounds so crazy, but this is real to these people. Like, they're really hook, line, and sinker on this shit. It's wacky, man. So, anyways, let me think. Okay, I'll show you, because we'll keep checking the hair thing, because we should start seeing hair filling in to the baby hairs. And yesterday I did see this one. It started doing this alfalfa thing, this group of hairs sticking straight up. So so you should be able to start seeing them sticking out soon. I don't know how long they stick out before they start laying down, but fucking in the goddamn color of the sky, the fucking poison. Yesterday it was raining and raining and raining. And I swear to God, it will say no rain. It will seem nice. And then all of a sudden, it'll just rain and rain and rain. And it's like the weather suddenly changes. And it'll say, oh, no, it's going to rain. It's going to rain for hours. Well, this morning, you said it was going to be cloudy all day. But now, all of a sudden, it's like you changed your mind. Like, I have sat there looking at the weather because it changes so quick and watched it change right in front of me. It's like, what in the point is these fucking apps? Like, they're just, I don't know. This reality, this world is so fucking weird. So fucking weird. But, oh yeah, my tooth. Let's look at my tooth and see what's happening with that. Definitely sensitive. I'll be glad when it's all the way healed. That's for sure. So, anyways, I don't know if I'm making sense on some of this stuff, but, I definitely think reality is way different. I definitely think our movement from situation or scene to scene, is that's what it's kind of like. Like I'm leaving this scene and I'm going to another scene, and then there's going to be the filler, but the filler will have to be in the filler too. It's kind of stresses me out even, where it's like, oh my God, what is going to be? What is to come? You know, I just want to get there with no incidents, no problems, just get there and get back, no situations. But then it's like you go out into the world and you don't know what the world is bringing you. You don't know what is in store for you. So it's kind of like, oh, good. You know, it would be great if we really did have all that control to just be like, oh, I'm just going to do this and it's just going to, this is going to happen and that's going to happen and that's it. It's like, well, anything can happen, honestly. Anything can happen and probably will, and you just don't ever know. So anyways, I'm hoping if there's going to be any problems with my car, that it hurries and does it before I get very far. And that would be the only thing. Is that, and what gets me on that is because once I got over here and it started being freezing fucking cold, and in this icy hill to drive out, then my car made some noises. And then I was like, oh, shit. So then I went and drove it to see, and it seemed fine. I checked the oil and all that. And I was like, okay, maybe it's just because it's super cold. And it's like a clinky kind of part. And it's like, I don't know. I just hope that if anything is going to go wrong, that does it nearby so I can get back, you know. So anyways, that's the kind of thing where you can start feeding all of the, what if, oh God, what am I going to do? I'd be out on the highway with 3 dogs on a leash. I was like, told my mom, well, I guess I could just walk down the freeway, just walk home on the freeway. That would be kind of real crazy, sucky. But if you get your car towed, the tow driver's not going to go drive you. You can't call an Uber to come and get you and your dogs. So when you're traveling with your dogs, you're kind of like, fuck, if you don't have somebody to come get you, and then you're just kind of like, bug, man. So anyways, that's the thing that kind of like, so I'm gonna go do that today, go drive over there and visit. Oh yeah, because it was when I was living over in the other place, is when there was people who would drive from where we were to Olympia for the day, and it would take like 6 hours to get there because you got the worst motherfucking traffic. Because then you got to go through Seattle, you got to go around Seattle, so you don't get to just go through it. You got to go this way, then you got to go this way, then you got to go down to Tacoma. It's total traffic this whole way. All this by the SeaTac, so because that's Seattle Tacoma Airport. So you have that major traffic, like the 5. It's so fucked. And then you got to go and turn and go up towards Olympia. So it's like quite the trek because you are through so much fucking traffic in the most densely populated parts of Washington. And so it would take like 6 fucking hours. And then drive over there to go see family for just the day and then turn around and drive back. So it's like, man, I'm kind of a wuss if I can't handle 3.5 hours of driving. So anyways, I'm just going to go over there, probably spend as much time visiting as I do on just one trek, one leg of the drive. So, but there will still be a break. And I'm going to, when I first get there, I'm going to go take the dogs to the park and go do a little walk and let them walk around and stuff. And then we'll go over there, hang out with my daughter, see the grandkids, have some lunch, and then feed the dogs, and then head back. We'll probably have to do them another walk and then head back and then drive. So anyways, today will be kind of busy. So just send me positive thoughts. That's what I'm asking for. Send me positive thoughts. See me on my journey, making it no problems and getting home no problems, and no volcanoes, no earthquakes, no militia, no attacks, no nothing. Just everything's smooth sailing, and then get back, and then they can blow the fucking place up tonight. As long as I have my tent and my sleeping bag, I'm like, well, go ahead, blow the shit up. I just don't want to be on the road when it goes. But, you know, you're going to be where you're supposed to be. That's for sure. And there's no telling. There is definitely something weird with the sun going. Like, it is cranked up, man. It is weird. Whatever they've got going with the sun and in the heat. And I don't know. I don't know. There was somebody who got footage where they said that it, like, the sun all of a sudden turned into a portal or something, and then it turned back, but then there was all these, then she had more footage of all these ships, too. So, that's what I was saying. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's what, you know, is going to be the part that gets the people to see. But it's just so weird because the people are so resistant. They're so sure of this fairy tale. That's it. This made up story. That's the truth. And you could have 1,000 people come and tell them it's not the truth, and it's still. You just watch how hard that program is going to be to break, man. And it's going to be a big one. So, anyways, there's going to be a lot of programming that's going to have to be broken. A lot of people are going to be working on their programming. A lot of people are going to be working on their self, it's like seeing themselves, and that's going to be like, that's what this is all about. That's what's so weird. Is like all these different things, but it's all about this other thing, this awakening, this evolving, this changing into a new world and stuff. So, anyways, we just got to keep on going as it goes and go with the flow and let it play out and let things go and just keep on moving forward. Don't give up hope. Don't start getting sucked into their hopeless world of, you know, nothing good ever happens and stuff. No, good things can happen. Magic can happen. Great things are ahead of us. So stay with that mindset. And don't forget, like, I know every day you have an opportunity to learn to love yourself, to learn to love everybody. You will get the opportunity. Somebody will push your buttons. So learning how to love yourself, love everybody, and how to have a loving day is what we're here to do. So anyways, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.